Dog is man's best friend. This is a timeless cliche. Many people keep dogs for various reasons, key among them being security and as pets. The former was Mr. Chege Kiuna's reason for keeping his first German Shepherd in 1984.
Yeah, my life with dogs didn't start when I was very young, but rather started a bit late in life in 1984 when I got dogs visiting my compound. They demolished the door of the house, and from then I started thinking about my security, and I felt that if I had security from dogs, I would be adequately protected.
The father of 3 girls and now a retired teacher never thought he could keep a dog, let alone being a dog breeder. He reckons that for him to be a dog breeder, he first fell in love with dogs and took his time to know the world of dogs.
Rearing dogs and breeding dogs are two different issues. Breeding dogs means improving on the quality of the dog that one has. For example, I will not meet my boy here with just any dog. That is the business of somebody who is rearing dogs and just wants to produce dogs.
Mr. Kiuna is among renowned dog breeders and trainers who draws customers throughout Kenya and beyond. He has a preference for German Shepherds to other dog breeds. Besides being good security dogs, Mr. Kiuna says German Shepherd's intelligence is unmatched.
They are intelligent enough to discriminate between people who have bad intentions and people who have good intentions. Number 2 is their capacity for doing security work. A German Shepherd dog is able to perform under any circumstances. A baby, one who has just started crawling, can be taken care of by a German Shepherd dog without any problem. As long as there is good introduction, the German Shepherd dog is going to take care of that.
He is, however, cautioning against training dogs exclusively for security purposes. By so doing, he says the dogs will stop being man's best friend and become an enemy within.
You should not just get a dog and subject him to protection training because that dog becomes a dangerous animal. For a domestic environment, your German Shepherd dog doesn't need to be given any kind of a protection training. It has that instinct within itself.
In many setups, dog keepers cage their pets or security officers for long hours. This, according to Mr. Kiuna of Kiuna Dogs, is a bad practice and a violation of the animal's rights. He says that a good dog is one that has knowledge about everything around them. On this day of our interview, Mr. Kiuna tells me that he has about 18 German Shepherds of various ages, right from puppies. We sit in one corner of his Mountain View residence, each one of us holding an adult German Shepherd. It is here that I understand the intelligence of a German Shepherd. All they need is love, and when it is missing, they demand for it.
So it all depends very much on... Come on, Kairu. It all depends very much.
Dog breeding is not as easy as it may seem. In addition to feeding and grooming them, dogs also must be vaccinated at least once every year. Another headache for dog breeders is pedigree, often measured by hip score. The lower the hip score, the better.
Any dog that scores between 1 and 20 has passed the hip score test and is approved for breeding. Any dog that scores over 20 is not recommended for breeding. Very many vets believe that it is genetic and comes from the ancestry of the dog. But history from breeders says otherwise. Because you can get a dog that has very good hips. You breed it with a female who has got very good hips and you get bad hips. Or you get a dog, your parents who have got very bad hips, you breed them together and you come up with a dog with excellent hips.
Mr. Kiuna is, however, raising a red flag over the hip score rating difference between Africa and Europe, where the hip score is much favorable in Europe.
The father of this boy I have here comes from the Czech Republic and is rated as 0/0. That is left. Come on, Kairu, down. As 0/0. which is the best in the world. Now, and the mother is also rated as 0/0. Now, some of the progeny or puppies born by those two dogs who have been rated 0/0, when they are born here, then and we take them for hip rating by our hip specialists, they score as much as 19. Some of them will score as high as 28. So we ask, why the difference? Yes, why the difference? If this thing is genetic, why is there so much difference?
Another challenge that dog breeders are faced with is a condition known as fading puppies syndrome. For Mr. Kiuna, fading puppies syndrome was his worst encounter since he started breeding dogs.
My worst experience was not a very short one. It's one that ran for about 5 years. When in my kennels, I didn't have any puppies to sell. I would meet my dogs, the bitches would get pregnant, they would go full term, get puppies at 9 weeks, very healthy puppies, and then when the puppies are just about 2 weeks old to about 6 weeks, they would start dying one at a time. Very healthy puppies, they die. Vets were not able to identify what the problem was. They just told me that it was something they called fading puppies syndrome. And when that happened, I had to get rid of all the dogs I had and bring in a new set.
Admitting that breeding dogs is a juxtaposed endeavor, Mr. Kiuna advises that to be a dog master, you can't leave your dogs in someone else's hands.
Once you get to know what needs to be done, then dog breeding is easy, but it calls for a lot of time. You have to spend time with your dogs. If you want your dogs to be good, you have to spend time with them, or get somebody who is going to spend time with the dogs. But then, if you engage somebody to spend time with your dogs, those dogs do not really belong to you. They belong to the person they spend the time with. So you need to spend time with your dog for those dogs to accept you as their master.
All said and done, the bottom line is,
you do not get known if you are a dog breeder and you keep your dogs in your compound. You have to take your dogs out to dog shows so that people get to see them, take them for walks so that your neighbors can start talking about how good your dogs are. Once you sell your dogs, make a follow-up to get to know that the people who have bought your dogs are keeping them in a good and decent manner, so that their friends, when their friends come visiting them, they are likely to say that they bought these dogs from so-and-so, passing on the good word about you.
to be a good dog breeder, you must have chemistry with dogs. Just love them.
Give them food here.
John Maura,
They are going
GBS.